As we all know, Christmas began in 1992, when I needed a reason for my parents to purchase for me a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Since then, Christmas has gone on to mean a great many things to a great many people, but obviously it's never happened in the past from now, and it will never happen in the future. That's why we have Christmas presents.
Presents are very important, and they are in fact the primary meaning behind Christmas as a holiday celebration. You need to spend money or it isn't really Christmas at all. So I've come to Birmingham, in Frankfurt, in Germany, in England, to visit the traditional Christmas market where I can celebrate capitalism as nature intended. It's also somewhere where we can indulge in the most traditional of Christmas foods, the one we all think about when we think of Christmas: pretzels. Merry Christmas. At the heart of the market is the iconic symbol of our Christmas season, a really big tree, which obviously is only possible at Christmas, because for the rest of the year it's illegal to spend money on nature and nobody can afford a tree anyway. Full of the joys of Christmas and feeling generous, I put out a poll over on Twitter and another one right here on YouTube to see what kind of small playable gift I could pass on to you all, because I'm so brilliant, and on both of them you all decided you wanted a 3D platformer. In the spirit of the season, I thought I needed my gift to you to represent the soul of what Christmas is really all about, which led to this: a small cheap gift box of body wash and deodorant that a distant relative sent you because they don't know anything about you as a person, so that you have to call them on Christmas Day and try desperately to sound grateful. So do pretend to sound grateful, because here is Jumping Up with Santa. Since you all said 3D platformer, this is technically one of those, so don't get mad at me. It is also a rage game in the style of Only Up, a difficult game about climbing and getting over it with Bennett Foddy. The digital equivalent of a box set of Link's Africa from Auntie Margaret. You're welcome. It was also made in less than 24 hours, because nothing says traditional British Christmas quite like the crushing disappointment of very minimal effort. So, let's talk game design. Oh, and just so you know, this is made in GDevelop, who just released their 3D editor update, so I can now move up and down in GDevelop and put stuff where it's supposed to be vertically, while also previewing and playing around with 3D effects and stuff in the way that'll work in the end. So making a horrible, terrible, very bad, not good vertical rage game platformer is obviously the best possible test project for it, isn't it? Shut up. Yes, it is. The first thing you'll notice is that you are in fact Santa Claus on his mission to place the star at the top of the North Pole's Christmas tree. What you might not notice is that Santa's movement is absolutely horrible. You're slippery and heavy with slow response times and a hefty clunk to your footsteps. But what's important, and actually good game design, yes really, is that it's consistent. Even the worst physics in the world can be deemed acceptable as long as they're always the worst physics in the world, because then at least you can learn them. This isn't just applicable to your movement speed, it also applies to your jump, because your jump is also horrible. It has a terrible but consistent degree of variation based on how long you press the jump button. What we're doing here is I'm giving you a higher skill ceiling than you think I am initially, by making the movement physics complex but predictable, and adding player input variation to how high and far you can jump. I have put a huge amount of player progress into the hands of, well, the player, which means as cruel and initially janky as this game seems, believe it or not, it is not unfair. This is actually a key point of a good rage game. Something like a difficult game about climbing, made by YouTube's very own Pontypants, has this exact point at the core of its design. The physics and mechanics are very simple and universally consistent, so as frustrating as it might be, it is all your fault. It is all your fault. Merry Christmas. Now, as you progress up the tree, the only variance in the challenges ahead of you is their size and placement. Nice and simple. Why? Because I'm lazy. Because simplicity is deceptive. A single one of these jumps is easy to do. A few in a row might even be no problem. But the entire tree, with variable jump height and slippy physics, is where the skill ceiling gets as high as the tree trunk itself, and the problems start to arise for your completion. There is also a passive push force if you stand still for too long, so you can't take it too easy. If it sounds like I'm over-explaining this, and there are many of you rushing to the comments saying, well, obviously, you idiot, you have to understand that I come from the era of the internet where a rage game, a genuine rage game, was incredibly unfair on purpose. This is I Wanna Be the Guy. If you think you play rage games now but you don't know what this is, then this is one of those old man in a cave moments where I tell you to sit down, go back to school and ask your parents. I Wanna Be the Guy, and games of its genre during that era, would instead throw legitimately actively unfair things at you by design, just to mess with you. Where rage games are now, we don't do that. So yes, I do have to over-explain just a little bit why it's important that our cozy, wholesome little Christmas game doesn't spontaneously throw delicious fruit at your head until you explode. So what else are we putting in here as design choices? Well, because it's Christmas, we need I might not be making it unfair, and the layout might be the same all the way up, but I can at least throw in an increasing amount of obstructive visual distraction. You can see it as well in the way that the textures on the intentionally low quality 3D models very intentionally clip into each other. And if I keep telling you that I'm doing it intentionally, then it's all fine, because it's completely acceptable to make a bad game on purpose. Same as how we've got a repetitive and obnoxious jump noise, MIDI, yes, MIDI music, and the entire game is locked at 30 FPS for no reason other than I can, and you might find it passively annoying. Finally, when you get to the top, there is a deeply underwhelming ending screen, which I'm not going to show you in this video because then you won't go and play it. Oh, and the game is completely playable on mobile in your mobile browser, so you have no escape. Now, because I am burdened by integrity and glorious purpose, and I am, as we all know, a golden god of game design, then this is the part of the video where I have to tell you that just because you made something bad intentionally doesn't stop it from being bad. In all seriousness, this is genuinely abysmal, and it might be the worst thing I've ever made. So, I understand if this is not to your tastes, and I don't wish to show this to you as a shimmering, shining example of my finest work, but do believe me when I tell you that there's a very specific subset of people out there who will find this kind of thing engaging, interesting, maybe even enjoyable, scary, terrifying people. And so I suppose this is for them, because they deserve a Christmas too. The link is in the description if you want to try it. I absolutely understand if you don't. Like this video if you liked the video that you liked when you liked it, and subscribe for more videos like the video that you liked since you did like it, and I will see you after Christmas in the new year when I'm next saying, hey, let's talk game design.